Jeff Holkemp, I got questions, so I went live early just so I could ask you these questions. What terms of service did she break? Playing somebody else's stream that got pissed off and hit her for it because people like to
Yeah,
cry.
terms of service. That's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that. Dang, Luna.
That's fucked up. People need to grow some thick skin. Don't say it on the internet if you don't want people to repeat it. Because once you put it out there, it's out there and it never goes away. People need to grow some thick skin.
Right.
Why am I repeating? Oh. Yeah, they need to stop with all
I'm
that.
not
You
at
said
one,
it.
am I?
Were you embarrassed later that somebody called you out on it? Is that why you're embarrassed? So you hit somebody? That's some bullshit right there. That's some pussy ass shit. That's some hide behind my keyboard because I'm a sissy ass bitch kind of shit.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry and Terry.
Yeah, fuck you.
There's two of them in here. And they came in at the same time.
No, I don't give a flying rat's fucking ass.
Does it have to be a flying rat? Can it just be a?
Can I dare
Can
anybody?
it be a regular rat? Does it have to be a flying rat? I don't know about flying rats. I've never seen a flying rat.
Hey, Scissors.
Hey, Scissors. Anybody hear from Maria today? I haven't heard from Maria today.
Remember she had to go back into the doctor's today, I think, over her drain tubes.
Oh, God. She had to take that ride back all the way an hour and a half back?
Yep, all the way out there and all the way back. So I'm sure she's in no goddamn mood.
God damn, man. That's some bitch shit.
Yeah, I'm
ride was no joke.
I got a bunch of shit. I'm not feeling good, and people are pissing me the fuck off.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Yeah, but because I'm not feeling good, I'm even more pissed off.
I'm telling you, this cold, it comes on kind of slow, but then it just takes off and it's bad. It'll floor you. It fucking kicked my ass. And it come out of nowhere. I swear I got it from Jeff. Jeff gave it to me. I went in Jeff's chat. Next thing you know, I'm sick. I swear. And he tells me, oh, I might have COVID. Yeah, you gave it to me through the internet. Just his voice alone. That's right. My dad said just his voice alone. Yes. Gave me the COVID. No, he don't have it.
Gave me the COVID.
He don't have COVID. But I did get sick right after I went in his chat.
I don't even think it's COVID anymore. I think it's evolved from that.
No, you cannot complain about your shit. Not after what Maria's been through, because she's a fucking soldier, dude. She's up. She had to do an hour and a half to get home yesterday after that surgery, and then she had to do an hour and a half back today, and then another hour and a half back home, sitting in that fucking car with her back like that. My God, man. She's already up walking around and everything.
You don't want to know.
The hospital.
Charms.
Life. That's why. Life. Right? It's crazy, dude. It's crazy because she had, like, you seen the scar on her back. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, the video I made for her, the Wonder Woman video's got like 2,300 views.
She's done so good, though.
And the other one's got like 1,200.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. All my shorts are getting a lot of views. The last few I put up have.
Jasper, you little asshole. I've been seeing what you've been doing around the last fucking 2 days, you little turd.
Jasper, you're in trouble. Oh, there he is. You're in trouble. You are in trouble. You're in trouble, Jasper. You're in trouble.
Running around starting shits.
Oh my goodness, not stirring of the shit.
Hey, Sherwoman. I know.
Jasper,
he was.
Have you been out
they were
stirring
saying
the
that
shit,
last
Jasper?
night on the asylum. He was running from.
He's the official stirrer of the shit.
So and so.
I know you are. You're always in trouble.
I'm always in trouble.
Stirring the shit. Because you're always out there stirring some shit.
Yeah,
people don't understand your humor. People don't understand sarcasm anymore, and they don't get his humor. I find it funny, but other people just don't quite understand it, and they get mad.
Cow girl, thank you.
Trouble work with a capital G. What?
Huh?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
There's no G in trouble.
I have no idea.
I'm high. I'm high, and you're speaking in Taiwanese. I don't understand tonight. I can't. Yeah, I'm feeling better. I was sick.
He's a button pusher. Jasper, you couldn't push my buttons even if you wanted to, sir.
You could try. You could try. It'd be fun to watch. Not tonight, though. Not. I
With
wouldn't.
a
I wouldn't if I
capital
was you.
G for gingerfuls.
What?
Huh?
I don't understand. Be careful. You don't. Trigger finger. I don't know what's happening. G for ginger.
I don't either. Ooh, you can come push my buttons anytime, Jade.
Oh my god!
You gotta wait till I'm better, though.
I know right now because I might
Unless
push
you want
back.
to be sickly with me.
Never mind.
Yeah. I don't know where you were going with that.
I'm too high. I don't know about her. I'm too high. She just don't give a fuck, and I'm too high. Yeah.
I'm trying to get there, but hold your britches.
I'm gonna fucking run out of weed here soon, and I'm gonna have to fucking smoke that nasty shit that I don't like. The piney shit. And it's gonna make me angry, but I'm gonna do it.
What? What are you doing?
I said I'm gonna run out of my good weed here in a little bit, and I'm only gonna have the piney shit that I don't really like.
You should have been mixing that fucking shit anyway.
No, but I don't want to taste that. I don't want to.
Well, too bad. Now you're down to the shitty weight. How'd that work out?
I know. Not good. Not good at all.
You behave in which absolutely annoying in. That's why we never see you misbehaving, Jasper, because you don't do that over here.
Yeah, because I go around about Jasper's innocent. What are you talking about?
I'm like, he doesn't do that shit that everybody else is like. I'm like, okay, he doesn't do that.
It's not bunk weed.
I don't know why you guys are all so mad at him.
I just don't like the taste of it. That's all. But I mean, it gets you high. It's good weed. It just I don't like the taste. I don't like the shit that tastes like pine. This tastes like pine and orange peels. Like that's not good.
Well, here's a thought: drink some pickle juice just before you take it.
Right? I got some throat lozenges. I think I'll suck on one of those. Right now, I'm smoking on platinum cookies. Yeah.
In and out.
I don't know what kind I'm gonna get next though. I don't know. I try to get a different one each time. That way I could try them all, but I don't know which one I'm gonna get. It takes me like a couple hours to figure it out. It's annoying as fuck. It really is. Yeah. Because they got some good ones. They got like White Widow and they got some fucking Green Crack. Methodical. That's a big word.
How long did it take you to look up that word, Jasper?
See, make sure you're not getting the hybrids.
Come on, Jasper.
They have hybrids too. Make sure you're not getting hybrids.
Dina. I don't even know who that Dina bitch is, nor do I care. I really don't. No time.
I know who she is. She don't come in here, but well, the hybrids are both. They're indica and sativa, and there's different levels of hybrid. Like some will be more sativa heavy, and some will be more indica heavy. But they have ones that are both sativa and indica in the same strand. And
yeah, not you. I'm talking about the other one, Shaw woman, not you. Just to be clear, wrong, Dina. No. There's one that's running around. What's she go by? I am Dina. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know who she is.
I know who she is. She don't come in here. I don't think she likes me.
Well, I don't like her, so there's that.
Yeah, they have hybrids that are like that. You just got to read the little description or ask your bud tender. They'll know which ones. But most of the places, like on Weed Maps, they tell you the percentage of everything. Like before you buy them.
I did. I saw that. I don't agree with stuff like that, Jasper. I don't. I saw that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that That was, to me, that was extreme. But I'm realizing there's a lot of extreme people on here. So, and if you get me on a good day, fucking, I'll get extreme with you.
Oh yeah, I don't even take a good day. Just ask me and I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah. Stoney's quicker than I am to jump.
Yeah,
But
I can.
usually, if Stoney's going in, I'm right behind her because I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck all
I
y'all.
can go balls to the wall about anything in no time. Just give me a topic and let me go. It's a gift.
That's what we was laughing because look, Maria and Scissors are the tamest out of us. And
Yeah.
then you got me that gives,
And let me
a
tell
half
you,
a
let me tell
shit.
you a little
And then
secret
you got
about Scissors.
Tony that doesn't give a shit at all.
There ain't nothing tame about Scissors
Crib
either. She's
keeper,
just ain't
my
as loud
bro,
as I
my
am.
little bro.
Trust me,
Where have you
Scissors
been
is just as
hiding?
opinionated as us.
No. Well, and I don't think it's being opinionated. It's just we're not scared to open our mouths and say something, whereas other people are more reserved about it.
Right. I just say what everybody's already thinking.
That's what I said. I'll be that one to stand up for you if you need me to.
Yeah. Point me
I
in a
have no
direction.
problem telling. I have no problem telling somebody when their mama needed to swallow them instead,
Or let them roll down their leg or
or roll
something.
down their fucking leg.
Whatever. Leave a spot on the bed. I don't care what you did. In the car
I
seat, I
sure
don't
did.
care.
I don't like to, but I can.
In a puddle
Well,
in a
that's a lie.
black
There's
alley.
only been one time that I was like in total ecstasy over it, and that was the day that I had Corey triggered on the phone. It did
Yeah,
something
we
to
did
me.
hear your name.
It
We heard
broke
your name.
something in me. I liked it a little too much.
Yeah, I told her, there it is. That's now you understand.
Oh
It
fuck! I all I could do was laugh, and he just was
yeah.
screaming. I was
It
like,
gets
it
to a
did
level
something.
that
I
you're
don't
just
know,
like,
but holy crap!
it's almost euphoric. It's incredible. It's incredible. And I'm
Good.
sorry if you've never felt that because you should get that mad one day. Because I'm telling you, once you break through, it's glorious.
Well, I hope everything's okay, little brother.
10 degrees. What the fuck? That ain't nice or toasty.
10 degrees,
The fuck? It's 44 here.
nice and toasty. Where the fuck are you at? In an igloo?
It's 44 here, and I'm
He
freezing my
lives
ass
in
off.
an
And
igloo.
you're talking about it's 10 degrees, nice and toasty. Are you insane?
Fucking 42 here. 10.
Fuck you, 10. I've never been in 10-degree weather.
Don't ever invite me to come to your house, okay?
Not in the
Okay.
wintertime. Never.
Fuck that. 10 degrees?
She's in Pennsylvania.
Oh my god. Right? The fucking Yukon.
In the loo? What the fuck is the loo? You're in the bathroom?
It's 30 yeah, in the loo. In Louisiana. In the loo.
She said the loo. I don't
You're
know, but
scared to even put your butt cheeks to the
I bet,
toilet. You might
dude,
get
you're gonna
stuck.
freeze to that porcelain. God, you better be careful. St. Louis, you were wrong
But
too.
oh, St. Louis, fucking your butt cheeks will stick to the fucking
You know, you're
shitter.
only about an hour away from Maria.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
As well, be in the shitter. Go out there and your ass freeze to the toilet. Keep hot water close.
Oh God, these two are gonna need a room.
What? Who's why? Why?
Jade and Crypt Keeper.
Oh, Lord
Because they're
Jesus.
always fucking with each other and shit. And I'm like, oh God, here we go.
Lord
It's
Jesus.
funny.
So I downloaded some fucking shit from Internet Archives.
Yep, we're gonna make you all listen to this shit, and we're gonna mind control you when we're done.
It's
It's a
all
trick.
about mind control and MK
It's a
Ultra and
trick.
shit. Yeah, we're taking over the world.
So if you're staying, we're taking all of you over first.
Yeah.
This is the trial run. Oh good.
Or there's an or. I also have a bunch of shit that I downloaded. I made from AI about haunted places in California and like the fucking Van Meter incident and the fucking Like all these
Well,
weird
Jake, from
fucking.
what he say, it looks like I'll be the only one in the room. Ugh, you'll be
What
out in
word?
the open.
What word do you like? She likes that word. Which word?
Cultification,
Mind control.
mind control.
Dude, one
Is
of them,
that
it's like 3 hours long, and it's like the CIA type shit. But it goes real deep into some dark, dark,
three
dark
hours?
fucking. Yeah, I don't think I can play it though. I don't think I can play it on here because it some of its topics are pretty fucking dark, dude.
Oh,
And it goes back to like Nazis and shit, and like our government hiring their scientists, and like how they created the trauma for these kids for this NK Ultra shit, and like about child stuff and like things they did to them at 3 years old and then 6 years old that purposely traumatize them and like just weird shit. And it gives details. Yeah.
that's what's scary is to think that fucking
But I think it's too much detail
government
for
can do
YouTube.
that. Yeah, the
Yeah, I
shit
mean
they do
it's a
behind
lot of
closed
it's good
doors, fuck, you
information
never
that you
know.
won't. Yeah, it's information that you won't believe our government really. I mean, it's crazy shit. But I think it's too crazy for YouTube. It's really deep, and it's classified files that have been declassified.
MK Ultra.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I said.
That
And
sounds like a fucking cheap beer.
the Monarch Project. Yeah, they called it fucking Operation Paperclip, and they brought all those German scientists over after the war. They hired them and brought them over here to teach them mind control.
Jeez.
Yeah, and they did some horrific shit to these kids to control their minds.
You
Yeah,
even look at me like you're coming at me with an electrode and I'm outie
the
beat.
other ones I'm going to show aren't
Gotta
like
go.
they're not as intense as that one. That one, it's pretty fucking intense. I'm telling you. I only watched like the first like 20
We're
minutes of
being
it.
mind controlled right now with YouTube, little bro.
Exactly, we are, and
Yeah,
you'll figure that out
Facebook,
as soon as you
YouTube,
start hearing. Yeah, when you start hearing some of this, it is absolutely 100%
Netflix, Hulu,
guaranteed. Yeah, they tell you if you listen to them, they'll tell you.
Disney.
The Men in Black, yeah. Well, most of the files got destroyed. This guy destroyed them, so they don't have a lot of the files that they need to have. But they know enough, and there's enough survivors that are talking that, dude, the shit is crazy what they did. Like, I really want to play the other one, the 3 hour one, but I mean, about the first, like, I'd say 10 minutes of it is pretty fucking intense. And then it kind of mellows out a little bit. And then I stopped watching it. But it's pretty fucking deep.
That's scary shit.
It's pretty fucking deep, dude. I was
To
like, our
think all the
government did
shit that they
what,
did back
dude?
in the fucking day. Oh my god.
Yeah, they hired 9,000 German scientists, Nazi scientists, to come and teach them mind control. That's how we beat the Russians.
You mean to tell me that 9,000 Germans went to fucking college to be fucking scientists?
Apparently. And they used techniques that they used at the death camp to control people.
That's
And they
crazy.
brought them over here to teach our scientists and our soldiers and our government
Is
brought
it
them over
rude
here to
to
do it.
tell? Well, it depends on who you're talking to, Jaspy. Some people might look at it that way. Like I have no shame. I don't give a shit. I know my voice is deeper than, and I don't care. So what happens when you get older? Suck my dick. I don't care. Choke on it. That's why I feel about it when people say anything about my voice. I don't care. I don't care. Hello.
Who sounds like an old adult?
So I said, I don't know. Sounds like an adult.
We sound like the sisters from The Simpsons.
I know, and I don't understand that. So when I'm like, how do you not see woman in thy name? The fuck?
Wait, what? I am so fucking confused.
I have no idea.
I think they're doing it on
Just
purpose.
now you did. Yeah, Selma and
It's
Louise.
Selma and Patty,
Yeah.
and I'm Selma because I live there. How about that?
Well, I don't want the fucking name Patty.
Well, you're gonna have to be.
No,
She
I
said,
don't
no.
wanna. No.
All right, let's see. Um, how about okay? This one is
Just
only like 20
stupid.
minutes.
Like everybody needs a goddamn lesson in fucking
This one's called
hormones and shit.
Television Mind Control with Propaganda. Jesse Ventura and Conspiracy Theorist Debunkers. That's the long one.
And I
Then we
didn't
got
always sound like this anyway either, too. So
MK Ultra, the
I
CIA's
hate
attempt at mind control.
when I had thyroid
Illuminati mind
cancer.
control.
When I had thyroid cancer and they had to go in and remove it, they had to move my vocal cords to get to it, to get it all out. And my voice did change. And when I went into the doctor and told him it's, because I used to sing and all that, I wasn't looking for like a record deals or anything. I'm not fucking Mark Terry. But I used to sing and stuff and I was pretty good at it, but my voice changed and I can still sing, but my voice never came back the way it was. The doctor told me it should, but it just never did. And then, older women, they start getting older. And if you're not taking hormones and shit like that, because I refuse to be a goddamn crybaby because that's what they turned me into and that's not me and I'm not doing it. So yeah, your voice deepens up a little bit.
Yeah, what she said.
So there. You don't like my voice? Suck my dick and choke on it.
Okay. Do you guys want to watch CIA covert experiments or um, Illuminati mind control
You
or
pick. I
MK
don't care.
Ultra?
Just throw one up there.
All right. We'll start with. I think this one's only 20 minutes. Yeah.
Right. Saw him and I was like, his voice does not match his face. I've seen that with some people. I'm like, whoa, you certainly don't look like you match your voice. It's funny. Okay, here we go. Uh-oh. Brace yourselves, people. This is the end for you.
We're taking over your mind.
Chemicals to see if you can induce a
Taking
person
over.
or induce him to do that or to do this. Of course, the CIA claimed that it didn't carry it through. The documentation we got was actually that they did that. Then we came across the overall project called MK Ultra. Its earlier code name was Artichoke, and that included 149 sub-projects. Those, 149. Yeah. And those sub-projects range from what I just described to open-air testing in the United States, experimentation on prisoners, experimentation on soldiers, experimentation on college students.
Would these people know they were being experimented on and gave their approval?
No, except for the quote-unquote voluntary Army soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
And the way the Volunteer Army program worked is it started in 1959. And the guys were just told that they would be doing experimentation on new weapons, right? And then they get to Fort Detrick, Maryland, where the experimentation was done, and find out that they were going to be doing it on drugs and chemicals. But they were never told what they would be experimented on. They just knew that they went crazy for a couple of days or so forth and so on. And then years later have similar things to the guys who have had Agent Orange, because there's one chemical that was used called BZ. And it's 100 times stronger than LSD. It's a very gross drug that causes a person to totally go out of his head for at least 12 hours, sometimes up to 2 to 3 weeks, where he doesn't even know where he is or who he is.
Are there residual effects to BZ?
Yes. Now, the Army at first said that they'd done testing to discover it, and they said there weren't any residual results.
It's harmless. It's harmless. They always say that.
Right. And we did a campaign to find the soldiers who had been experimented on, and we found approximately 40 in the U.S., all of which have been experiencing extreme emotional and physical upset since that time, you know, with children with birth defects, the same sort of thing as Agent Orange. But the Army, as part of the CIA's experimentations, wanted to simulate chemical biological warfare attacks and to see what effect it would have on different Americans, how far it could go in, and so forth, and also test to see how they could use it on other countries. The different kinds of things that they did without the citizens' permission anytime on any of these tests was...
Or even knowing about it.
Oh, no, of course not. You know, they didn't even say they were going to do a test, you know. They experimented with the use of mosquitoes, where they just let tons of mosquitoes go in South Carolina, and just to test how far the mosquitoes would go, because they had the idea that maybe if they used a particular strain of mosquitoes in, say, Soviet Russia, then those guys aren't immune to yellow fever because they don't have yellow fever there. Then Russia could be infected.
And to terrorize me as an additional trauma in the mind control experiments. He used many pain induction techniques, but as I got older, I resisted more and more.
For experimental research state that, quote, in order to keep more funding coming from different sources for radiation and mind control projects, he suggested stepping up the amounts of stressors used and also the blackmail portion of the experiments.
Wow.
He said it needed to be done faster than to get rid of the subjects, or they were asking for us to come back later and haunt them with our remembrances. There's much more I could tell you about government-sponsored research, including project names, sub-project numbers, people involved, facilities used, tests, and other forms of pain induction. But I think I've given more than enough information to recommend further investigation of all the mind control projects, especially as they involve so much use of the radiation. I would love nothing more than to say that I dreamed all this up and need just to forget it. But that would be a tragic mistake. It would also be a lie. All these atrocities did occur to me and to countless other children, and all under the...
Between 1972 and 1976, he and his assistants were sometimes careless and left the cage unlocked. Whenever physically possible, I snuck into his office and found files with reports and memos addressed to CIA and military personnel. Included in these files were project, sub-project, subject, and experiment names with some code numbers for radiation and mind control experiments, which I have submitted in your written documentation.
All of these are public domain.
Defending our country. It is because of the cumulative effects of exposure to radiation, chemicals, drugs, pain, and subsequent mental and physical distress that I've been robbed of the ability to work and even to bear any children of my own. It is blatantly obvious that none of this was needed, nor should it ever have been allowed to take place at all. And the only means we have to seek out the awful truth and bring it to light is by opening whatever files remain on all the projects and through another presidential commission on mind control. I believe that every citizen of this nation has the right to know just what is fact and what is fiction. It is our greatest protection against the possibility of this ever happening again. In conclusion, I can offer you no more than what I've given you today, the truth. And I thank you for your time.
That's crazy.
As the evidence suggests, some of these people were used in...
Crypt, all of this is under public domain. I can use it freely. There's nothing going to happen. It's under listed public domain.
Yeah, it's not all
So
of
it's
them
free
you
to
get.
use. It's considered education, an educational video, and it's free to use. It's literally listed under public domain. Under usage, it says public domain.
Yeah.
Radiation experiments. There might be information in the mind control experiment files on radiation experiments. We need this information to help in the rehabilitation and treatment of many people who have severe psychological and medical problems which interfere with their social, emotional, and financial well-being. Finally, I urge you to recommend an investigation into these matters. Although there was a commission on mind control, it did not include experiments on children because most of them were too young or still involved in the research in the late 1970s to come forward.
Story of these activities. We are professing to tell you the complete story that we know. But these records that we've uncovered don't tell the story. They tell
Damn, I was 7 years old then.
Cold very
That was 4.
rapidly because it was an IV injection, and things became very furry and very frightening, and had a lot of sensations that it's very difficult to recall. Nobody explained it to me. Nobody ever asked me if I was willing to do it. I thought this was the coldest and most impersonal treatment that anybody could give to anybody in the world. And I became more and more despondent and more angry. I just became so despondent that I thought I can't live like this any longer. And I thought I would just go out and throw myself underneath the cars on McGregor. I stood on the curb of that street, and I stood there, and I thought, okay, go. Okay, go. And then I thought, what if you're not killed? What if you're just maimed? What if you don't die and you live and you can't even talk anymore? And I couldn't do it. They cried, and they were very disoriented, and we were very afraid of the sleep room. We used to walk very carefully against the side of the corridor that was opposite the sleep room with our backs to the wall well, I'm glad he was concerned for the staff. But damn it all, I wouldn't. I could have maybe had a different kind of life. And that makes me angry and sad, and I don't know how to explain how I feel, really. I'm just.
How did you feel when you learned that Dr. Cameron's experimentation was financed by the CIA?
Well, I thought, I can't even use the word that I thought, because I thought, that bastard. And he was too smart. He knew who he was working for. And, excuse me, but I just can't, sometimes I can't believe it. And yet I know it's true.
If you had the opportunity to say something to the people at the Central Intelligence Agency who financed this study, what would you say?
Experimentation for my entire adult life, and possibly may have been a victim since my childhood. I have been targeted with ongoing microwave weapons, as well as drugging with neurotoxic contaminants covertly placed on articles of clothing, as well as on other personal possessions. I believe my being a non-consensual human test subject is related to the CIA's MK Ultra behavior.
That's how they get away with it, because how crazy does he
began
sound?
in the 1950s. Moreover, after I read a July 1963 CIA MK Ultra report that became unclassified in 1994 and emphasized that it would be necessary to test unwitting citizens in their ordinary day-to-day activities without their knowledge in the final stage of the testing program, I believe that I could be one of those many thousands of civilians that were unwittingly tested in the CIA's behavior modification program.
That we can use this by stimulating over the prefrontal cortex to influence mood, both in pathologic states like depression, or even in healthy controls, we can subtly cause people to be happier or sadder.
The technology was first used to explore how the brain controlled movement. But more and more, doctors are using magnetic brain stimulation to help lift the spirits of depressive patients. But could it be used to plant specific ideas into a person's head?
What we're doing is we are either heightening or diminishing regional activity in our brains, and our brains obviously have mechanisms to regulate moods, just as we regulate our heart rate, our other things. And what we're beginning to do is to be able to use this to understand those regulatory systems and kind of push them one way or another.
But what about the possibility of reading people's thoughts? Using brain imaging tools, doctors can observe the brain activity associated with specific thoughts or behaviors.
It would be possible to not only read the emotional states, but perhaps to induce the emotional states by turning on or off certain regions and then also taking a picture. So although we don't have the ability right now to take a map of the brain and say whether someone's happy or sad or angry, that's not far away, I don't think.
At the height of the Cold War, both sides sought to perfect mind control or brainwashing techniques. Could magnetic brain therapies and brain mapping be used to control people by tampering with their emotions or memory?
Well, it's a powerful new tool that,
Like,
just like
say, the Mandela effect?
nuclear
Yeah.
reactions can be either used to harness energy or misused for atomic bombs. And with the ability to go in and push and pull brain regions, you can use that in therapy, which is what we're doing here, or potentially use it for misencoding of information or other things like that. So just like any tool that our society has,
Misencoding of
up to us as a
information, you
society
mean
to make
like
sure that it's
correcting
used
your brain or
properly.
like your thoughts?
The ultimate spy, however, is unlikely to be bound by the same code of ethics as scientists. They'll use whatever tools they can. In San Francisco, California, those tools might already be in development. Cheryl Welsh maintains that the U.S. government is testing mind control on unknowing victims.
Well, basically,
That's just even big,
I'm
scary
networking on
thoughts.
the internet, and this is a worldwide international problem. The International Red Cross has a 1990 article which discusses the fact that many major superpowers, many industrialized countries, are researching electromagnetic technology for anti-personnel uses, and the technology is highly classified.
Cheryl believes that she and others are the victims of this mind control research.
Many of the victims that I network with describe hearing voices and microwave illness, where they have headaches, just generally sleep disturbances, sunburns even though it's at night, just microwave effects.
Microwaves and other radio frequencies are known to affect the human body. But could they be responsible for voices in people's heads? In Chicago, Illinois, a world authority on microwave hearing shows how it could work.
I'm hearing a microwave pulse like a click. Now it sounds like a chirp with a tonal quality to it.
Professor James Lynn is hearing sounds that aren't there. But he's not crazy. Pulses of microwave energy are being generated and fired at him from behind.
Microwaves can be heard depending on the individual, depending on the hearing acuity of the individual. Individuals with a fairly normal hearing can hear microwaves at quite a low level.
The energy of the absorbed microwaves causes brain tissue to very slightly heat up and expand, causing a pressure wave to be picked up by the hearing mechanism in the inner ear. Professor Lynn is far from hearing voices, but it could be possible to send coded signals to an agent this way.
The brain is an electrical organ. It is susceptible to electrical signals. Since microwave is electrical, therefore, in principle, one could embed or encode information in the microwave signal such that it could be perceived by the brain.
It may be some time before we can control someone's thoughts, but we could influence them, perhaps even send secret instructions at a distance. Instead of breaking into a secure installation, the ultimate spy could control someone on the inside and have their dirty work done for them. But why stop with individuals? If the ultimate goal of the ultimate spy is ultimate power, could whole populations be controlled? The answer is frightening. Before and during World War II, leaders manipulated the public opinion with a potent new info weapon: propaganda. By controlling what people believed, ministries of
which the government controls the minds of everyone around her.
Wherever I go about in my day, people will spit, swear, blow smoke in my face, basically 100 insults a day.
The purpose, Cheryl says, is to observe how she reacts so the government can study her mind and eventually use the same technology to control the minds of America's enemies. If that sounds crazy to you, Cheryl says the government is succeeding.
You discredit the enemy. You make them look like a kook. And if you can imagine the government's motive, I mean, if you can read a person's mind, you're not going to reveal that for anything.
She's not the only one. Cheryl has organized a group called Citizens Against Human Rights Abuse that has attracted hundreds of self-proclaimed victims from California and all over the world.
I'm just trying to organize, I guess, and gather the information and get the information out, because I don't think the public has it.
She's gathered documents like this from the United Nations that suggest banning electromagnetic weapons because of their biological effects on people. She's also collected papers that she says shows long-term American goals.
I've got the documents from NASA, from Federal Times, from back in the 70s, the DIA, talking about how they were going to use this microwave hearing to drive political targets crazy.
Welsh says more and more people are stepping forward to say now it's coming true. On special assignment.
Some of the experiences are voice to skull, where voices are transmitted to a person from a distance, remote viewing, where a person can be watched in their homes or picked out of a crowd, shocks given to the body, paralyzation of the body, levitation of body parts, gang stalking, where people are followed around, careers and jobs ruined with false allegations, mobbing in stores where people crowd or surround a target, and some of the other symptoms could be a combination of all these types of torture. A lot of these symptoms are mischaracterized as being mental illness. A lot of these symptoms could cause a person to become ill, physically ill. Assassinations are carried out by persons being controlled and directed in these ways. The mind can become confused, a person is overwhelmed.
The fuck is he sitting there just smiling for?
This is the hypnosis part.
I've spoken to probably 3,000 people. He's on probably 1,500. He's on 5,000. There's a lot of us across the U.S. And there's certain statistics, I think, that if you find that there is something going on wrong, that you're going on wrong, that somewhere along the line somebody has to do an investigation. There's a certain percentage of illness. You do an investigation. If there's a certain amount of cancers in the area, same as Brockovich went and did the investigation. She found a certain amount. Well, we're presenting our case right now. You said you guys wanted to be in the know. We're giving you the information now so that you are in the know. There is something going on. It's electromagnetically issue, and it has to do with from cell phones all the way to directed energy. And I think yesterday some of the colleagues went ahead and said that we didn't really talk about whether there's energy weapons or not, but I mean, we have thousands and thousands of documentations about energy weapons themselves, and all we're asking for is an investigation on this. People are being harmed.
Oh, what happened to the sound?
Is that it? It's over.
Oh, okay.
There's another one. I got more. Just wait a second.
Are y'all controlled in the chat yet?
Yeah, have I taken over your minds yet?
We taken over? Put a 1 in the chat if I'm controlling you right now. I remember something out here with the baby boomers and that getting a bunch of stuff like dumped on them and it causing cancer and shit. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up, but I remember something about it. And it was, yeah, a certain area. Oh, I'm controlling.
Again, we're all educational.
What do you get when you give CIA agents free rein to kidnap, drug, torture, and experiment on whoever they want? Project MK-Ultra, an operation so unbelievable that it sounds like a conspiracy theorist's bedtime story. Welcome back to Thinkology. My name is Robin, and I'll be the one telling you today's bedtime story. Without much further ado, let's get right to it. Project MK-Ultra was a CIA operation that was conducted from 1953 to 1973. Over the course of the operation, the CIA performed experiments that ranged from using LSD for brainwashing to creating a brain implant for dogs that would make them controllable via remote. Not only were the experiments unethical, many of them were highly illegal as well. So how and why did this happen? Let's take a look at how one of the craziest and most controversial government programs in history came to be. First of all, let's talk about why the CIA thought MK-Ultra was necessary in the first place. The project began in the 1950s during the Cold War, when the US was concerned that other countries were developing mind control tactics. That's right, mind control. Look, the 50s was a different time. We were scared of just about everything, right? Richard Helms, the former director of the CIA, told a journalist there was deep concern over the issue of brainwashing. We felt that it was our responsibility not to lag behind the Russians or the Chinese in this field, and the only way to find out what the risks were was to test things such as LSD and other drugs that could be used to control human behavior. These experiments went on for many years. Fear of communist brainwashing quickly spread through the American public as well. A New York Times article from 1954 reads, "The totalitarians have misused the knowledge of how the mind works for their own purposes. They've applied the Pavlovian technique in a far more complex and subtle way, of course, to produce the reflex of mental and political submission of the humans in their power." Jeez, that's reaching a little bit, isn't it? These factors are what led CIA Director Alan Dulles to create MK-Ultra in 1953.
You can't take us anywhere.
Dulles then appointed Sidney Gottlieb, a chemist and spy master, which is a really cool title, to oversee the program. Gottlieb had joined the CIA in 1951 as a poison expert, and his penchant for developing deadly toxins earned him the nickname the Black Sorcerer. Just a group of nerds, huh? Gottlieb was given free rein to conduct any experiments that he wanted.
German
Author Stephen Kinzer wrote, Gottlieb operated almost completely without supervision. He had sort of a checkoff from his titular boss and from his real boss, Richard Helms, and from the CIA director, Alan Dulles. But none of them really wanted to know what he was doing. This guy had a license to kill. He was allowed to requisition human subjects across the United States and around the world and subject them to any kind of abuse that he wanted.
Think about that. Stop it for a minute, Tony.
Yet nobody looked over his shoulder. He never had to file serious reports.
All right.
Think about that for a minute. Somebody showing up to your fucking door and just kidnapping you because they want you for an experiment.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's what would happen. And he could do it legally.
Yeah.
And then he could take you and put you in a cage or wherever he wanted to and do whatever he wanted in the name of science. And,
yeah.
And have full a minute or fucking.
That's insane.
You could do it. Like there was no, he had no one to answer to. He had immunity, complete immunity to everything. Yeah, hired by our government. He was one of the 9,000 Nazi, fucking scientists they brought over here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. Okay, you can start it again.
Our government did this. Our government requisitioned. Our CIA is the one that requisitioned all this.
To anybody. I think the mentality must have been that this project is so important, mind control, if it can be mastered, is the key to global world power. Ah, I see their hearts were in the right place. MKUltra wasn't the first CIA operation that involved mind control, though. It was preceded by Project Artichoke, a mind control operation that studied hypnosis, forced drug addiction and withdrawal, and other drugs on test subjects. The main goal of the project was to determine if an individual could be made to perform an act of attempted assassination involuntarily. Extracting valuable information was also important for the project. 3 interrogation
That's why I
teams
run
were
around
formed
playing
and
stupid,
sent
Shaw
overseas
woman.
to conduct interrogation experiments.
I'm not
The
on anybody's
CIA agents
radar.
were told to target potential agents, defectors, refugees, POWs, and others. What the CIA learned during Project Artichoke was transferred into MKUltra in 1953. Soon after MKUltra was established, the CIA began experimenting with LSD and other drugs to be used for brainwashing and torture. According to an NPR interview with journalist Stephen Kinzer, Gottlieb arranged for the CIA to pay $240,000 to buy the world's entire supply of LSD. I didn't know that you could do that. He brought this to the United States and he began spreading it around to hospitals, clinics, prisons, and
$240,000 to
other
buy the world's
institutions,
entire
asking
supply
them
of LSD. You
through
could have need more money
bogus
than that.
foundations to carry out research projects and find out what LSD was, how people reacted to it, and how it might be able to be used for a tool for mind control.
And you wanted to buy it all
The
before knowing all
CIA
of this?
began targeting vulnerable people to dose with LSD. Mental patients, prisoners, and drug addicts were all used as test subjects. One CIA officer said they went after people who could not fight back. In one terrifying example, a mental patient from Kentucky was given LSD every day for 174 days
Lord.
in a row. Terrifying doesn't even begin to cover that. Although many of the people who were given LSD did not consent to the experiments, MKUltra did have volunteers as well. The CIA funded volunteer research projects through several hospitals, universities, and prisons. Some of the most famous volunteers for these programs include Ken Kesey, author of One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, poet Allen Ginsberg, and Grateful Dead lyricist Robert Hunter. Why does the Grateful Dead one not surprise me all that much? Free LSD? Uh-huh. One of the most famous prisoners who volunteered for the program was gangster Whitey Bulger. According to Bulger, he was told that he was volunteering for an experiment that involved curing schizophrenia. But in reality, he was being used as a test subject to study the long-term effects of LSD. Bulger was dosed with LSD daily for over a year and thought he was losing his mind. After realizing the true intent behind the experiment, Bulger wrote, "I was in prison for committing a crime, but they committed a greater crime against me." Bulger isn't the only famous criminal associated with MKUltra. Although it hasn't been proven 100%, some sources claim that Ted Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber, was a subject of MKUltra experiments while he was attending Harvard University. The story goes that Kaczynski volunteered for a study that was conducted by Dr. Henry Murray, who was actually a CIA employee. During the study, Kaczynski and other volunteers were harshly interrogated and humiliated, causing them to experience extreme stress. Kaczynski was reportedly badly affected by the experiment, and it led to him becoming a social outcast. Eventually, he would go on a bombing spree that lasted 18 years, killing 3 people and injuring 23 others. We don't know for certain if Kaczynski was an MKUltra test subject. Any CIA records that could have linked him to the project were most likely destroyed in the mass document
name's
destruction
Kaczynski, by the
ordered
way,
by Richard
not
Helms and
Kaczynski.
Sidney Gottlieb in 1973. One of the strangest and most unbelievable LSD experiments conducted during MKUltra was Operation Midnight Climax.
What?
Like other MKUltra experiments, Midnight Climax involved dosing unsuspecting civilians with LSD and other drugs. However, even among other MKUltra projects, Midnight Climax stands out as particularly unconventional.
Oh my God, don't tell me.
During the operation, the CIA hired sex workers and set up their own brothels in order to spy on and illegally dose Johns. Sidney Gottlieb hired George White, a rock'em sock'em cop not overly carried away with playing spook, to run Midnight Climax. In 1955, White rented an apartment in San Francisco and turned it into a CIA-funded brothel. The brothel was outfitted with surveillance equipment and a two-way mirror so that White and other agents could see what was happening in the room. White would sit behind the mirror and sip martinis from a pitcher while watching what happened to the clients.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of scientific stuff going on. Dude's getting drunk, you're ruining your whole experiment. To prevent creating a paper trail of the illicit activities, the sex workers that White hired weren't conventionally paid. Instead, they were given vouchers for free favors like getting out of jail. In one report, Gottlieb wrote, "Due to the highly unorthodox nature of these activities and the considerable risk incurred by these individuals, it is impossible to require that they provide a receipt for those payments or that they indicate the precise manner in which funds were spent. I cannot believe the get out of jail free card is a real thing." In the beginning of the project, the sex workers were told to focus on working class men. White thought that people from poorer backgrounds would be easier to keep quiet about what happened inside of the brothels. However, White and his agents soon began dosing people outside of the brothels as well, and their list of targets rapidly expanded.
Wow.
Under White's orders, agents began dosing random people in public with various drugs. Normal people at restaurants and bars were drugged without their knowledge or consent. One source within the CIA reports that if we were scared enough of a drug to not try it on ourselves, we sent it to San Francisco.
Wow.
Some of the materials delivered to agents in San Francisco were detailed by author John Marks in an interview. There, TSS, or Technical Services Staff scientists, tested such MKUltra specialties as stink bombs, itching and sneezing powders, and diarrhea inducers. TSS's Ray Treichler, the Stanford chemist, sent these harassment substances out of California for testing by White, along with such delivery systems as a mechanical launcher that could throw foul-smelling objects 100 yards, glass ampules that could be stepped on in a crowd to release any of Treichler's powders, a fine hypodermic needle to inject drugs through the cork in a wine bottle, and drug-coated swizzle sticks. With a term like swizzle sticks, you know it was a long time ago. White apparently loved the depraved work he was doing. In a letter addressed to Gottlieb, he openly relished the opportunity to abuse his power. How surprising is that, everyone? Of course, I was a very minor missionary, actually a heretic, but I toiled wholeheartedly in the vineyards because it was fun, fun, fun. Where else could a red-blooded American boy lie, kill, and cheat, steal, deceive, rape, and pillage with the sanction and blessing of the All-Highest? Pretty good stuff, brother. It is pretty wild to think that people like this were given government funding and sanction. Civilians weren't the only targets of these experiments, though. Deputy U.S. Marshal Wayne Ritchie was dosed with LSD at a holiday party and quickly became manic and paranoid. After fleeing the party, Ritchie went on a drinking binge across the city, worsening his paranoia. In an interview with San Francisco Weekly, Ritchie said, "I was paranoid. I got down to where I thought everyone was against me. The whole world was against me. I decided if they wanted to get rid of me, I'll help them. I'll just go get one of my guns from my office and hold up a bar. I thought, I can get enough money to get my girlfriend an airline ticket back to New York, and I'll turn myself in." But I was unsuccessful. In the morning after the party, Ritchie was still under the influence of LSD. After retrieving 2 revolvers from his office, he drove to the Shady Grove bar and ordered a drink. Once his drink was finished, Ritchie pulled out a gun and tried to rob the bartender. A waitress asked Richie what he was doing, and while he was distracted, a customer knocked him unconscious. When he woke up, Richie was in handcuffs. Richie pleaded guilty to attempted armed robbery but avoided spending time in jail. Instead, he was given a fine and 5 years of probation. Years later, Richie opened a lawsuit against the United States. However, the judge presiding over the case decided that while the CIA agents did things that were reprehensible, he concluded that it was not clear by a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Richie was administered LSD. It may be what happened, but we don't operate on hunches. Operation Midnight Climax only stopped after CIA Inspector General John Ehrman found out about the brothels and recommended that the program be ended. Like with the rest of Project MKUltra, most of the files regarding Midnight Climax were destroyed. To this day, we still don't know how many people were affected by this illegal and abusive operation. One thing that is evident throughout MKUltra is the fact that Gottlieb and the rest of the CIA were willing to do whatever it took to gain the upper hand in the mind control arms race, including working with Nazi torturers. Doctors who had operated in Nazi concentration camps were brought to America and hired to advise CIA agents on the use of mescaline and deadly sarin gas. While the CIA's experiments with drugs on U.S. citizens are certainly appalling, they pale in comparison to the torture inflicted by CIA agents overseas. In order to hide some of the more brutal experiments, the CIA created detention centers around the world. In an interview with NPR, author Stephen Kinzer said, CIA officers in Europe and Asia were capturing enemy agents and others who they felt might be suspected persons or were otherwise what they called expendable. They would grab these people and throw them into cells and test all kinds of not just drug potions, but other techniques like electroshock, extremes of temperature, sensory isolation. All the meantime, bombarding them with questions, trying to see if they could break down resistance and find a way to destroy the human ego. So these were projects designed not only to understand the human mind, but to figure out how you can destroy it. And that made Gottlieb, although in some ways a very compassionate person, certainly the most prolific torturer of his generation. The CIA expanded the scope of MKUltra even further by recruiting psychiatrist Donald Ewan Cameron to conduct experiments in Canada. Cameron was best known for developing the concept of psychic driving. Psychic driving was a technique where patients were played a repeating message in order to alter their minds. Cameron believed that he could cure schizophrenia and other mental illnesses by breaking down someone's mind and reprogramming their psyche. During his time as a part of MKUltra, Cameron expanded his procedures and developed a technique known as depattering. This process involved giving patients large doses of LSD, placing them into drug-induced comas, and then subjecting them to incredibly powerful electroshock therapy, up to 75 times the normal intensity. The patients that Cameron experimented on were normal people who did not consent to the cruel treatments they were given. Many of these patients experienced severe long-term effects, including Jean Steele. Steele was a young mother who was experiencing depression. After failing to overcome her condition, she was admitted to the Allen Memorial Institute, where Cameron ran his experiments. By the time she was released 6 months later, Jean was no longer herself. Her mind was irreversibly damaged by Cameron's cruel and dangerous experiments. Like other patients of Cameron, Jean was subjected to electroshock treatments and psychic driving. She was kept in a drug-induced coma on 2 separate occasions. One of them lasted 18 days, and 29 the other. According to a file that Jean's daughter obtained from the Canadian Department of Justice, Jean threatened to kill herself and screamed that she felt like she was being nailed to the cross. Jean's daughter, Allison, detailed the terrible effects that her mother suffered after the treatment. Before being admitted to the Institute, Jean was a bright and active woman who enjoyed dancing and playing bridge with friends. Afterwards, she was a shell of her former self. According to an interview with Allison, Jeannie would spend hours sitting in the dark or in her room. When she drove, she kept the flicker on to keep her company. She once arranged all the patio furniture outside, placing sticks wrapped in tinfoil on the chairs, declaring it was Sherbrooke Street, She spray painted a white living room ceiling in red swirls and spray painted the toilet seat silver. They stole my mother from me. They used her as a human guinea pig and they stripped her of her emotions, Jean's daughter said. What they did to my mother was torture. Another disturbing account from this era is that of Louis Weinstein. Louis was a successful businessman who suffered from anxiety. After being admitted to the Allen Memorial Institute, he was dosed with LSD, shocked repeatedly, and subjected to psychic driving. Due to the extreme methods used by Cameron, Louis was irreparably damaged. In an interview with the Washington Post, Louis's son said that the experiment left his dad a human guinea pig, a poor, pathetic man with no memory and no life. He lost his business, he lost everything. When you're 13 years old and you see your father, an independent, kind, smart person, becoming a different man before your eyes, it's impossible to accommodate that. I remember one of his first visits home from the hospital. He didn't talk much, and when he did talk, it made no sense. When he wasn't sleeping, he was drowsy. He asked us things about his parents, even though they'd been dead for years. His memory was gone. At night once, when I was in bed, I saw him come into my room and urinate on the floor. He didn't know where he was. Even when his patients attempted to avoid the abusive treatments, Cameron would coerce them to continue with the program. Velma Orlikow reportedly hated the LSD treatment she was receiving and told Cameron she wasn't going to take it anymore. Cameron then told her, "Lassie, don't you want to get well so you can go home and see your husband?" Afterward, Orlikow continued her treatment and was quoted as saying, "I thought he was God. I don't know how I could have been so stupid. A lot of us were naive. We thought psychiatrists had the answers. Here was the greatest in the world with all of these titles." Thanks to the treatment that she was guilt-tripped into continuing, Velma experienced severe long-term consequences. Velma told the Washington Post, "I suffer from chronic depression, which sometimes becomes acute. I call those periods my black holes. I don't see anybody, and I won't leave the house. I can't read, and I used to love to read. I can't write a letter. I have unexplained fears. I wake up at night afraid, and I don't know why. I'm trying to limp through my life like someone who's been in a terrible accident that leaves them crippled." Now, despite the terrible effects many of his patients experienced, associates of Cameron say that he actually cared about them. One of his staff psychologists wrote, "He abhorred the waste of human potential, seen most dramatically in the young people whose minds were distorted by what was then considered to be schizophrenia. He felt equally strongly about the loss of wisdom in the aged through memory malfunction. For him, the end justified the means, and when one is dealing with the waste of human potential, it's easy to adopt his stance." While he was conducting these brutal experiments, Cameron was appointed president of both the American and Canadian Psychiatric Associations. Joseph Raw Jr., an attorney representing a group of Cameron's victims who were attempting to sue the US government, said, "We hanged Nazis for doing the sort of things Cameron did." A study team member at the Institute said that Cameron was, quote, "the godfather of Canadian psychiatry." I probably shouldn't talk about this, but Cameron, for him to do what he did, he was a very schizophrenic guy who totally detached himself from the human implications of his work. God, we talk about concentration camps. I don't want to make this comparison, but God, you talk about we didn't know it was happening and it was right in our backyard, end quote. Cameron retired in 1964 for unexplained reasons. He was never punished for the crimes he committed against his patients, and after his death in 1967, the American Journal of Psychiatry published a long and glowing obituary. The verified stories we know about MKUltra are already unbelievable, but some sources claim that the CIA's experiments delved into even crazier realms. In 2007, investigative journalist Gordon Thomas released a book that claimed that the CIA used occult research during MKUltra. There aren't many sources to support this theory, but Thomas says the CIA used MKUltra to explore the world of black magic and harness the forces of darkness and challenge the concept that the inner reaches of the mind are beyond reach. Journalist Alex Constantine also wrote about the CIA's involvement with the occult. According to him, the CIA wanted to start their own cults in order to study the effects of mind control. Additionally, Constantine Constantine believes the CIA created a course in black magic and demonology at the University of South Carolina. Once again, the evidence to support his theories are flimsy at best, but it is an interesting idea nonetheless. And after what we've seen here today, would it really be all that surprising? Now, MKUltra isn't the only project that involved strange experiments. In 1952, Project MK Naomi was created to develop chemical and biological weapons for the CIA. Using deadly shellfish toxin, the CIA created a gun that fired deadly poisonous darts up to 250 feet. Committee Chairman Frank Church called the gun a murder instrument that's about as efficient as you can get. Besides the dart-launching pistol, the CIA also created a fountain pen that could shoot darts as well. So, if the CIA wanted all of these dirty deeds kept hidden, how do we know about all of them today? First of all, let's talk about why so much of this operation still remains a secret. According to Stephen Kinzer, Helms was really the only person at the CIA who had an idea of what Gottlieb had been doing. So, as they were both on their way out of the CIA, they agreed that they should destroy all records of MKUltra. Gottlieb actually drove out to the CIA Records Center and ordered the archives to destroy boxes full of MKUltra records. However, it turns out that there were some records found in other places. There was a depot for expense account reports that had not been destroyed, and various other pieces of paper remain. So there is enough out there to reconstruct some of what he did, but his effort to wipe away his traces by destroying all those documents in the early 70s was quite successful. Journalist Seymour Hersh was the first person to report on the CIA's illegal activities. In a New York Times article he wrote in 1974, Hersh reported Central Intelligence Agency directly violating its charter, conducting a massive illegal domestic intelligence operation during the Nixon administration against the anti-war movement and other dissident groups in the United States, according to well-placed government sources. 1 year after Hersh broke the story, Idaho Senator Frank Church created the Church Committee to investigate abuses of power carried out by the U.S. intelligence agencies. During the investigation, it was revealed that 80 institutions were involved in the program, including universities, hospitals, prisons, and pharmaceutical companies. By 1977, Admiral Stansfield Turner had been appointed as the director of the CIA. He testified during a Senate hearing that the CIA had funded over 149 separate research projects during MKUltra. During the hearing, Turner told the Senate committee, "It is totally abhorrent to me to think of humans being used as guinea pigs. I assure you that the CIA is in no way engaged in either witting or unwitting testing of drugs today." Now, thanks to the revelations made by the Church Committee, President Gerald Ford signed an executive order prohibiting experimentation with drugs on human subjects except with the informed consent in writing and witnessed by a disinterested party of each human subject. Now that spells it out pretty damn clearly for them, doesn't it? Thanks to the mass destruction of MKUltra documents, we're never really going to know the full scope of the operation. What we do know is that for 20 years, the CIA used innocent people as guinea pigs in their cruel experiments. And none of the project's leaders were ever prosecuted for their crimes. That's right, crimes. After 2 decades of torture and experimentation, Sidney Gottlieb ultimately decided that the work he did for the CIA was useless. After retiring, this marauding torturer and his wife moved to a farm in rural Virginia, where they spent the rest of their days in peace. Meanwhile, Gottlieb's victims and their families are still struggling with the disastrous and long-lasting effects of MKUltra.
Fucking crazy.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up our video on MKUltra. I'd like to thank...
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think our government's the one that said, here, do this. Come on over.
Go ahead. Sure. Go ahead. We don't care. Do what you want. We'll turn a blind eye.
No, we're going to pay for it. We're going to fund it for you.
Jeez. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll fund it for you, but we're going to turn a blind eye to what you're doing.
They gave them, they could do whatever they wanted. They could.
No,
they literally got to play God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, why am I tired? It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, for sure they're still doing it. For sure they are. Absolutely. Why not? They've been getting away with it for so long. Because, like I said, who's going to believe these people? They sound fucking batshit nuts.
Right. And they even said in there, it makes them sound like, that they're have mental illnesses.
This one starts out speaking in German or French or something, but it goes back to English. But Dom will be able to understand it.
All right, translator. You can come out of your corner.
Of the 25th of August.